This is Barbara Ellistad with the Mesquite Citizen Journal, and we're here today with Karen Dutkowski, who is running for the Mesquite City Council in the 2020 primary election. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Illinois, and I have lived in Missouri and California, Tennessee, Utah, and Nevada. My working career, I started working with the Veterans Administration as an administrative staff.
Okay.
And the last part of that, almost 15 years, the last 5 years I was a budget analyst.
Oh, goodness. Okay, they're going to need your help this time.
After that, I got a job with the Fresno County EMS.
Okay.
To do some data analysis and to do some collection of data. They were very much on research and performance.
Uh-huh.
And so I did a study on mechanism. With the physician involved, I did a study of mechanism of injury. And so from that point, I realized, being pretty new to the EMS system, that I needed to know more about how the perspective of the first responders,
right.
EMTs and paramedics.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to, but I went to EMT school.
Oh my goodness sake! Wow.
And
now that's getting into your job.
But I enjoyed it. It was very interesting, and I felt that it was something that I needed.
Yeah.
So to do a better job. After that, we moved to Salt Lake City, and I worked there as a continuing quality improvement coordinator. Again, looking at EMS data.
Okay.
And working with the medical director. And again, I certified as an EMT because you have to keep that up. You have continuing education.
Yeah.
I certified as a EMT instructor and firefighter instructor.
Wow.
Even though I'm not firefighter trained, I could still do some of the things that, right.
Okay.
I completed 2 leadership courses with the National Fire Academy. One on executive planning, another one on organizational theory and practice.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I got involved in the quality movement in the 90s. Quality movement. So, and I was very interested in that, and that seemed to make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I could see where it could make a lot of difference. We were approaching, at that time when I was hired by the fire department, that the 2002 Olympics was 5 years out and so forth.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of planning to do, and so that really helped us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I facilitated improvement teams, process improvement teams.
Okay.
To look at what they were doing, why they were doing it, how they were doing it, and do they need to make any changes.
Yeah. Okay.
Later, after the Olympics, well actually before the Olympics, I was the database administrator for the 911 dispatch. And what that entailed was customizing our software to the responses that is necessary for any kind of emergency that we would have.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also designed the reports that came out of that so we could check to see how we were doing. I also worked part-time as a consultant for the Salt Lake County, the Salt Lake County Fire Authority, who had similar software that we were using, and so I was able to help them through some things.
Good.
I went back to college and got my degree in business administration. And then after that, we moved to Salt Lake City, and no, actually, let me back up. After that, after I'd worked for almost 10 years with Salt Lake City Fire, I got a job with Intermountain Healthcare
Okay.
in the transplant services, doing data. Again, looking at software and numbers and things, and looking at how we do things. I also reported on the results of the follow-up of transplant patients. Once you receive a transplant,
Oh, wow.
you are nationally required to submit data, and you are followed by the United Network of Organ Sharing
Yeah.
forever.
Okay.
So they want to know how you were doing after, transplant. It's not something you
Yeah.
just...
Yeah. Okay.
Following that, I retired in 2010
Okay.
and started getting involved a little bit locally because we had moved here.
Okay. In 2010, you moved here?
No, actually in 2008 we moved here.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
And no, I'm sorry, 2012 we moved here.
Okay.
And I started to get involved in my children more because I'm retired.
Yeah.
I did some traveling, enjoyed that.
Well, good.
In 2016, though, however, I started to get involved in the election and wanted to know more about the caucus. The caucus was very interesting to me because I had never lived anywhere where that was on my radar, at least.
Yeah. It's a strange beast.
It is. It is. And I realized how important Nevada is to that. Because we're in the West, and we need to, the West needs to be represented.
Yes.
Everything seems to be Far East.
Yes.
So, and so I did some caucusing. I did knocking on doors. I did voter registration. It was so much fun because I could meet people and talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so after that, I got involved, after the election, I got involved with a nonpartisan group of people who were interested in, how things were going to change because of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And the election, there was this dichotomy, of course, between electoral votes and popular votes. And that still is a big issue.
Yeah.
So what's right? We have to find out what's right, what's going to work.
Yeah.
Okay? And so they get it. It was so fun to get some good conversations going about why they felt these group of people felt that they could get their elected officials involved more so. Because at that point, everyone felt, the elected officials aren't listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't give them feedback, they don't know.
Right.
And one of so our group is registered with a nonprofit, with an organization, but we don't follow everything to a T because we're very small. But this organization wants to teach you how to engage with your elected officials, how to tell them, how to get their attention. And sometimes it's protests, and sometimes it's letter writing, and sometimes it's phone calls, and sometimes it's phone calls more than once.
Right. Right. Okay.
So I believe that a lot of our elected officials aren't listening. They can tend to listen to big business, or they can tend to listen to their supporters that have a lot of money.
Right.
And so, how does the average person get that out there?
Right.
Let it be known.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the organization, and I'm still leading this organization. And it's a great
Okay.
group of people that talk about what's bothering them, how they can get in touch with their, you know, I've changed my issues, my thoughts about issues just because there's a good discussion about it.
Yeah, that's healthy
You know.
to discuss.
Right. My husband, Greg, he is very active with the Virgin Valley Theater Group, and I have 2 children, 2
Okay.
adult children.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Sounds great. You've got a long career behind you. I'm not sure why you want to take this on, but here we go.
Well, I have to admit, when I did, sign up to be a candidate, we were not in a pandemic.
We weren't in a mess? Oh, okay.
But that's okay.
Yeah. Well, let's
That's
make
okay.
a mess. Yeah, so it's very different this year, very strange. Okay, so we're going to start in with the questions.
Okay,
There are no right or wrong answers, they're your answers.
okay.
Okay? It's often noted that council candidates are only seen in meetings and activities once they place their name on the ballot. You've not regularly attended a lot of meetings and activities associated with the city government. So how do you convey confidence to us that you're familiar with the issues and are able to make decisions and solve problems?
At the moment, I don't have all the information, so
Okay?
for me, I'm kind of data-driven. I want to know background, I want to know specifics, and so that's the kind of person I am, and I would, if a problem comes to me, I would always just dig in and see what can be done about it.
Okay.
I'm into problem solving.
Okay.
I mean, all of it.
Okay.
Life is problem solving.
Yes. The city is now facing its biggest budget challenge because of the business shutdown associated with the COVID-19 virus. So the next few questions are going to pertain to that subject.
Okay.
Okay? It's possible the city could lose up to 40% of its revenues over the next year. Since almost 80% of the budget is spent on employee salaries and benefits, how do you anticipate bridging that gap if you were on the city council?
What I would do is take a look at how we do business, why we do business. Are we doing the best we can in these certain areas? So you look at what you do and you determine how you can do things differently. That's pretty much the crux of the quality improvement movement theory. Yeah. You solve problems by actually picking it apart and taking care of what is. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
You take the budget. Let's say you're going to take the budget and you. I'm sorry, your cat.
I know. Let's hang on for a second. We'll pause this.